Everybody, it is your weekly parish update for the 21st Sunday of Ordinary Time, and today when I'm recording it is the Queenship of Mary, August 22nd, a very Marian day. In the old calendar it was actually the Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. That's why August is dedicated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. My encouragement to you as your spiritual father is to again take Mary very deeply into your life and draw her ever close to you. In fact, she really wants to draw you close to herself. She is the Queen of Heaven. She is the one who intercedes at her Son's right hand, a fulfillment of the Davidic kingdom, that there was always the queen of the kingdom and it was always the mother of the king. And so the reminder is that Mary is our queen as well. Of course, as St. Therese of Lisieux says, she's more mother than she is queen. And so remember that she is your mother as well. Now I'm forgetting, St. Louis de Montfort says, like, if we don't have her as mother, then we can't really have God as father, right? Because if we're incorporated into Christ by baptism, then truly, really spiritual, like a real thing, like we're incorporated into him, then she's our mom too. And so we really have to embrace her as mother so that we can also call God our Father, as the Son of Christ does, or Son of the Father does. Anyway, okay, we could go on Marian theology all day because I love her, and I think as the Church and so many saints like Pius X and Saint Bernard of Clairvaux and all these ones have told us like we need to stay very, very close to her. Okay, but on to our weekly parish update on just looking at things. I hope you enjoyed Father Zachary Muldrow. He's one of our great priests in the diocese. Still keep praying for him. He's going off to be a canon lawyer in D.C. But I was glad y'all had the ability to encounter him. Maybe some of you already had from St. Martha's because that's where he was before this. But I hear for many people, were very happy to have him, and I'm glad we had him. Right as I was off at that conference in San Antonio with the Fullness of Truth conference. Encourage you, like always. Those are always wonderful events. Go to them when you can. I encourage you going to them. I'm going to be probably at another one in December. Pray for that I can get coverage for that so I can go. But yeah, I was very blessed. Matthew Leonard was there. Dr. Brant Petru was there. Again, David Lauren Moore, who did the music. Gabriel Castillo. Like, again, so many people were there. Father Ken Gerisi, of one of the Fathers of Mercy. Phenomenal lineup. I was very humbled to be able to go and engage in that. But I will say I kind of like fanboyed out when I got to meet Dr. Brant Petrie, and encourage you, like, if you want, like this week we're doing with the Bible in a Year stuff. There's many things there, but it's talking about the temple, like altar, like. Dr. Petrie has just like put out some new stuff, a new series on like the Mass Explained, and I would highly encourage that, and especially because he teaches us so much about the temple and how important that is. There's like various altars within the temple, one of them being like, for instance, the altar of incense was one of the closest ones. We hear the prophecy in Ezekiel when it says the angel takes a coal and then places it on Ezekiel's lips and tongue. That's a really big deal because the altar of incense, if I remember right, was in the Holy of Holies. So this wasn't where the animals were sacrificed. This was like the most important. This was the one that was closest, right, in a sense, to God. It was supposed to represent us, right? This is why we use incense at Holy Mass, because the incense represents our prayers, the prayers of our heart, the sacrifices of ours, like rising up to heaven. This is why when, again, I've incensed the altar, before I turn to you and I say, pray, brethren, that my sacrifice and yours be acceptable to God the Almighty Father, you, in a sense, and your prayers, and of course, joined to Christ, is the pleasing aroma to God the Father. Anyway, we could go more on liturgy. You know we will, because we're going to start again our liturgy series this next week. Just like we're actually going to start like walking through the Mass now, in a sense, to look at all the beauty that's there. And encourage you, if you want to do a deeper dive, this is why I'm saying this, if you want to do a deeper dive on the Mass, there's not only the book by Ascension Press called The Biblical Walk Through the Mass, but also highly encourage, again, Dr. Brant Petrie's series on the Mass Explained, or I think he's calling it A Mass for All Ages, is the new DVD that came out like yesterday or whatever. I look forward to it. I'm gonna get it for myself because I'm a nerd and I consume like everything he has. So if you want to know where a lot of my stuff comes from, of course, now I'm telling you my secret because you're going to see where a lot of my stuff comes from. It's from Dr. Brant Petrie. So other than that, just looking at like what's coming up, and actually before I even get to the bulletin, I'll put that down. A couple things I need from you. right, is we need more catechists, okay? So in terms of the update this week, the update is that I need more catechists. Like, I want to do as much as I can to catechize our children, like in our youth, really, really well. Well, we need catechists. We also need like helpers and people like that will be in the classroom, not only to help us keep safe environment, but as well to be able to assist in many and various ways. And sometimes you might teach, sometimes you might not. But the reality is we need more people. And I told you last week, like this is how you will grow in the faith too, by hearing the church like teach these little kids. And then of course you may be like, you preparing a session for the little kids, like learning how to articulate the faith. That's how we grow. Like you typically learn by teaching, okay? And so even though you might not be the teacher as a catechist, right? I do need more catechists. Still, you'll learn by being one of our catechists. So please, if you've ever thought about being a catechist, I want you to contact both Miss Becky Purcell and as well Miss Carly Richard. I think both of them are there for that, and so we can get some more catechists. With that, speaking of catechesis, on the back you will see that we have tons of things coming up in the fall, lots of opportunities for faith formation. This is particularly important to me because this last week was the feast of St. Pius X. And St. Pius X, one of the greatest saints that we've had in the last 150 years. Before Pius X, there was no pope who was a saint for 340 years. It was Pius V, and then we finally got Pius X. A tremendously saintly pope. Not only did he give us many liturgical reforms, we talked about a few weeks ago, Tra le Sollicitudini, in regards to restoring Gregorian chant and polyphony to their proper place, which of course Vatican II will take on, even though we haven't experienced it, most of us in our lifetime, but we are rediscovering. His motto was to restore all things in Christ, and so again to have this real focus on the Lord. In fact, he even he kind of outlawed applause and stuff like that in certain gatherings because he was like, no, the focus is the Lord. And he even wanted that to be for little kids because he believed, let the little children come to me, right? We get from Pius X the lowering of the first communicant age to 7 years old as opposed to 12 like it was in his time. So many things, canon law, breviary being reformed so that there could be greater devotion amongst the clergy. I'm forgetting my homily from that day, but a ton of things that Pius X does, trying to restore all things in Christ. One of the things that he also he gave us CCD, right? Children's education, that's Pius X. Also too, he told pastors, and this is me getting out of my point, that it is necessary, right? He bound with his apostolic authority that priests are supposed to be providing adult formation, and I will say particularly on solemnities and Sundays, meaning there is supposed to be Sunday school basically for everybody. We'll work there. Most campuses don't even have that ability because there's so many people in our mega churches and stuff like that nowadays, even within those Catholic churches like St. Martha's, which is so close to us. It's huge. There's no way they could have everybody on campus every day. So I'm going to start trying to do more education this way. Of course, we're going to get some other platforms and stuff like that so you can continue your education. And then as well too, I'm going to be trying to continue your education by doing those second Sunday and second Wednesday are for our CC parents, but also encourage you, it's for everybody again in the parish. My point in all that is that I'm going to be trying to do everything I can to give you everything we got of the Catholic faith. I encourage you. You have to do your part, right? Cooperate with God and participate in all that and dive deep, dig in, consume it all as much as you can, right? Anyway, I was going to say don't be a spiritual glutton, but right, if you can consume it all, then do it. I realize some people are going to have to pick and choose. Family life is very busy, etc., etc. But the devil's always going to try to tempt you to laziness or oh, you can't do that or whatever, when you probably really can't. You just need to weigh things in life better and be I don't really need to watch some random show that isn't going to help me get to heaven. I could watch something that Father David has encouraged me to do, or again something that builds up my faith. My point is you're going to have all of that. You're also going to have all these formation opportunities. There's no excuse in a sense for not growing, not only intellectually, but as you ponder these intellectual things, to be growing in holiness, because that's ultimately the goal. Here at St. Philip's, ours is to come and see what God has for us, and as well to be saints, right? Again, then that's my goal, is to make us all saints, and again, journeying together. Next, not only do we need more catechists, not only do we have lots of catechesis opportunities, those who want their children to be catechized, I need you to register. please register. Like, we need that information so that we can know, like, what, not only how many catechists we need, but as well, like, what we need to prepare, what, like, resources we need to buy, et cetera, et cetera. Even just, like, glue sticks and all that sort of stuff. I need to know who's here, okay? And so please register now. School started. We got that past us, thanks be to God. Now the, like, catechetical school year in a certain sense starts. Please register. Don't delay. Register, okay? Because I need to know so I can care for you, okay? I need to know so I can care for you. It's really that simple. Speaking of people I need to care for, we have more and more young families. This is wonderful, like coming to the parish. Pause real quick. Okay, like 2 weeks ago, obviously our sound system's out, and I'm hearing like it might be out till like November, December. So that cry room, I'm going to try to find solutions, but that cry room might be out of commission for a long while. That means that the younger families, especially with younger kids, are going to be a part of our like internal community inside the nave, right? As opposed to like trying to escape into the cry room, which I'm sure you're not all just trying to escape into the cry room. But I do know there are some people who just go in there and they're not using it like a mass preparation room, right? Because that's ultimately what the cry room is, a mass preparation room, preparing them for it. And that means obviously no adults should be in there. It's really for the young families with kids. But wasn't it awesome that they were with us like that like 2 weeks ago? I heard all these little kids, and it was wonderful. Like, that is a sign of an alive parish. I realize some people might get grumpy about the little like noises or sounds or whatever that just kids are going to make. Like, and we never had like any kids screaming bloody murder or whatever, which granted, that's going to happen from time to time. Sometimes kids have bad days and they melt down, and the parents, I guarantee, are going to like take them out and stuff like that, because the parents are more mortified than anybody. But we want to make sure we aren't the cause of their mortification, right? We should be rejoicing at what God is doing and building our parish, and like these young families being here and hearing the sounds of like little kids and stuff like that. That's so wonderful. So I just want to just encourage everybody to like appreciate that when you are in Holy Communion and we have the time of quiet and you're hearing little voices and sounds. Like, thank God for that, right? Jesus says, "Let the little children come to me," and they're coming, and like, this is awesome. So we want to rejoice in like what God's doing. Now, that being said, parents are now bringing, right, more children to me, and particularly to be baptized, right? And so I do need to start like forming more of a team, because I can't do everything, like a baptism team. And so if you're interested in helping our young families, and this is going to be one of the most important ministries in my mind. Like, everything starts with baptism, right? Not just the sacramental life, but like the life often in families. Like, if they don't understand baptism right, they are likely going to either destroy their children's faith, or they're not going to lead them on the path of holiness. So getting things right from the moment of baptism is one of the most important things. Now, that might super intimidate you and be like, well, now I don't want to be a part of Father David's like baptism team. I will be training you. Like, I will as well provide you some formation and show you like how I want us to form people. And so like, never fear. Like, again, if you feel a call in your heart, like, God is going to equip you, okay? And like, I'm going to work to equip you. So if you feel a special call of like helping people understand baptism and to set them right for being for parenting like their children for eternity, then I would ask you to email me and contact the parish office as well, so I don't miss an email, because I'm bombarded right now, so we can start that up. Other things I will say, like, this is kind of a big parish update, like a lot of things. Don Walter, so thankful for him. He has been my handyman and like right-hand man in the sense of getting all those sorts of things done on campus for the last year. And I'm thankful that Father Barker had convinced him to stay on to help me. So appreciative of him, but he's decided to retire, and we're very thankful for that, right? There does come a time where you want to have more time with family, all sorts of various things, and I'm glad he's having that, right? There is a season for all things, as Ecclesiastes we'll talk about. So with that, I don't have a handyman, and I could really use a handyman for some things around. Now, we're always going to get professionals where professionals are needed, but if there's somebody who has like, kind of a jack of all trades, handyman sort of thing, like, please contact me, let me know, because we're going to need to look at that and see we need a person, right? And we'll figure out like days and times and compensation and all that sort of stuff, but contact the office for that. Very lastly as well, in terms of this general, before maybe we go look at something else that's here, but we need a receptionist. So we need a receptionist at the front desk. We're so glad to have Miss Pam Wedo, who is stepped in as business manager, and with that, there's kind of caused some shifting in the office, and with that, we need a new receptionist. And so, if you're bilingual, that would be wonderful. That's definitely what we're looking for, because there are people who call here who need to speak Spanish, or that would be easier for them and for us to be able to catechize them. So too, like, people come to us from like other parishes, and to be able to have that kind of, conversation of, we don't really have any Spanish ministry stuff right now, so you're probably best to go to St. John of the Cross, especially if that's already your home parish, right? So that is a very important gift or talent or skill or whatever, one I don't have, unfortunately, speaking Spanish, that is. But even if you don't have that and you're interested in assisting us, please, again, contact the front office and let us know. I will say this, we're generally switching to the parish office being open from 10 to 2. We haven't officially announced it or changed the door post. I'm kind of unofficially announcing it right now. But be on the lookout for that when we kind of get some people's hours and stuff like that settled. But having a receptionist, our goal also is we can have some expanded hours depending on if they're able to start at 9 or something like that, and then Miss Pam can go till 2, and we kind of have some little overlap. That's just the thought process there. I probably said far too much, and this is probably the longest parish update we've had. But again, there's lots of good things happening, and this academic year starting, even in the liturgical year, right? We got Carlo Acutis and Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati being elevated to the altars, meaning being made a saint. So many wonderful things. We got the Women's Guild that's coming up. We got some outings that are coming up with us, the senior outings. We got so many things. Again, check your bulletin always. We got lots of good stuff. I encourage you to keep looking at those who advertise in the back. These, I'm trying to encourage these to be our parishioners who you can support, and so Catholics can be helping Catholics. But lots of good stuff. We're beginning again our liturgy series this week. And then lastly, if you're seeing this today on Friday, August 22nd, encourage you, it's a day of prayer and fasting. Pope Leo XIV did encourage that, to really ask all Catholics today to be doing some prayer and fasting. Maybe you've already eaten breakfast, maybe you already had a bunch of bacon or something like that. Not that it's a day of abstinence, but my encouragement is he's asked for prayer and fasting, for peace in the world. Today, let's ask the Queen of Peace to bring her son, the Prince of Peace, and that he may reign, not only in our hearts, but in the world, and bring the true peace that he can have. But that, of course, that's going to take a lot of, we win the battle on our knees, meaning praying, right, and interceding. And that's why the Pope Leo has told us we need to be praying and fasting. Because as Christ said last weekend, which I didn't get to preach on, but maybe another time, he didn't come to bring peace on this earth, but the sword or division. Meaning, as long as we don't have Christ the King as King, Prince, peace in our hearts, and as well even dictating things within the world, then there's not going to be the peace and the kingdom he wants on earth. And so we're part of ushering that in, though. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is where we come in, not only in praying and fasting, which Pope Leo is calling us to do, and so many saints and even Mary from heaven at many Marian apparitions, but this is where you come in as well, laity, in that you infiltrate the kingdom of darkness with the kingdom of light and the light of the gospel, right? The way we deal with things economically, politically, within our families, within society, within our friends and our spheres of influence, that changes the world. You bring the Prince of Peace by your sacrifice and the things you do, the way you talk, the way you catechize, the works of kindness, the works of charity, the works of mercy, all of those things, those are bringing, again, the Prince of Peace into the world. So let us just remember that and how important you are, and that's why Pope Leo employs you today, activates you, gets you soldiers, right, doing the work of the kingdom and of the army of God, is to pray and fast, because that does a lot. We'll find out at the end of time how much it did. But so go big, go hard, into this, go full blown, and recognize too that you have the Queen of Heaven as well as trying to assist you. So employ her, let her do her part in making you one of her children. She who will squash the head of the serpent along with her son. Ask her assistance in this time for your family, for various things, for peace in this world, etc., etc. So, because she will help, and especially as you allow her and invite her to draw you close to her heart, again, her heart is inflamed and with, and again, the blood of Christ, in a sense, pumping through her. So when you become like her, because you're fused with her, now with God, nothing is impossible. God can do tremendous things. That's what we're, in a sense, praying for, recognizing the power of God that is here and available to us, that we just need to, in a sense, tap into. So with that was your weekly parish update. God is doing good things in our parish. So excited. Get involved, because God wants to do good things in you and through you and with you and in you. All right, y'all. God bless. Bye. St. Philip the Apostle, pray for us.